Sackboy. You were barely lucky to escape the Negativitron out there.
Hey there everyone, this is Ray Carcillo, and there are some people in the video game industry who begin their careers as journalists and then end up getting some graphic design or computer programming degrees in their spare time and move into the development part of the system. Then there are some development experts who grow bored or run out of ideas and move into the journalism aspect to provide expert insight. This career flip-flopping is actually more common than you might think, and although I hold nothing against these individuals, in fact more power to them for being good at multiple things, I've never dreamed of being part of the development side of the coin. I'm just simple like that. I like my football teams to run a 4-3 defense, my baseball teams to have 2 lefties in the starting rotation, my beer to be cold, my whiskey to be warm, and my women to have a little meat on them so I don't break them like a wishbone. And I like my games to have a definitive beginning, middle, and end, with little necessary input from me, beyond what I want to look like or maybe my class in an RPG. To me, this is why I pay $60 and avoid the other side of the industry, to have professionals craft me an experience. So, this is part of the reason why I disliked the first Little Big Planet. The main story mode is very simple and very short, and although I think Stephen Fry should narrate every video game for the rest of eternity now, I was never interested in building my own game levels and then sharing them with the world, or having to wait for some amateur to put up his idea and then waste my time when it's below professional standards because the original developers were too lazy to cater to an experience that appeals to me in the first place. But, clearly, I am in the minority. And so, I present to you Little Big Planet 2. But I guess a lot of my complaints were actually heard because Little Big Planet 2 is Little Big Planet on steroids. It's actually a fully fleshed out game beyond the customization features. There's a story mode where you're now referred to as the politically correct sack thing and must join the Alliance in order to save all of Little Big Planet and the imaginative creations of people everywhere from the evil Negativitron, a vacuum cleaner bent on wiping the slate clean on your sack thing, and his new friends like Larry Da Vinci, the head of the Alliance. Only by going around Little Big Planet and taking out the Negativitron and his monstrous creations can you free your sack once and for all. This is what a platformer's meant to be, folks. Great physics, powers, a nice story to tie everything together, and some really inventive ways to keep the inherent linearity from becoming dull. And this makes this game leaps and bounds better than the first. I felt like the Bionic Commando again when I got the grappling hook, or Mega Man after getting Gutsman's power as I lifted giant cakes out of the way and used them as weapons against my newly crafted foes. And this just scratches the surface of the powers and abilities your sack thing will need to make it through the nearly 50 story-related stages. Not to mention the bosses. Stage-wide foes that will try to crush, electrocute, or burn your sack thing into nothingness. It's amazing that this is still called Little Big Planet, considering to me, the single-player and co-op experience is night and day between the two. The look and sound of the game has stayed primarily the same. You can port over your old sack thing into this game along with what items you collected in the first Little Big Planet. There's also the 3-layer 2.5D look to the levels and the constant themes throughout each world that your sack thing will explore and are still as vibrant as ever. The sound is also still very good, as 7 composers combined forces to give each world a unique feel, and Stephen Fry returns as narrator, which is just full of win. Along with this, there's actual voice acting for all the characters who meet in the Alliance as well, and they do tremendous jobs throughout the levels and cutscenes of Little Big Planet 2. And the single-player mode isn't the only thing to get a facelift. Before, the customization would allow you to create levels. Now you can create entire games, like this Street Fighter spoof that I tested out for someone. Talk about redefining your Hadouken. There are also elements for racing games and even RPGs for you developers in training out there. When all is said and done, the only thing that still bothered me about Little Big Planet 2 is that the story mode is still very short, much like the first game, and it shouldn't take you more than 6 or 7 hours to blow through it, so if you're like me and aren't looking for the customization, then this is probably only a rental for you. But compared to the first game, this is a platformer that will hold your attention, as you can't wait to see what new power you'll get, and the much stronger writing really helps hold it together. Throw in the deepest customization mode in gaming ever, and this will make a lot of people happy for a long time.